Welcome, modern day mystics, fellow truth seekers. James and Justin back again, and it's been a while since we've done a Sadhguru reaction. He's back, and we're gonna watch this video called How to Open the Third Eye. Where's that third eye? Oh, somewhere in here.
Pineal gland, whatever that is.
Is there an actual eye inside there somewhere that you can't see, or is it imaginary? I don't know.
That's what we're here to learn.
The inside has become total vacuum, so the doorway gets sucked in. Another way of opening the third eye is you contain everything inside. The first way of doing is the best way of doing. The most significant aspect of Shiva is that he opened his third eye. All the other things, he danced, he meditated, married twice, did so many things, that's not the thing. He opened his third eye. It's only for that we remember him even today. For that, even today, after thousands of years, we still bow down to him. Because there is no substitute for knowing. There is no substitute for knowing means. And there is no way to know unless your perception goes beyond your present levels of perception. Unless your ability to see is enhanced beyond its present limitations, there is no way to know. To know is to be free. So, Shiva is significant for us not because he's wrecked in Himalayas, not because he played with snakes, not because of this or that, because he opened his third eye. He perceived what most human beings fail to perceive. What is unseen for a large segment of humanity became a normal part of his vision. That's what third eye means. So people say, when Shiva opened his third eye, it was a fiery process, fire came out of it. Why they're saying fire is because within himself, he burnt everything that he thought mattered to him. He became like a fire chamber, like a kiln, that within himself he burnt everything that can be burnt, and then from every pore of his body, instead of sweat and blood coming, ash came out. Why Shiva is always depicted as ash smeared is he didn't go about smearing ash. Ash came out of his pores. This is to indicate that he has burnt it all. He has burnt every shred of ignorance, everything that one believes as true, he burnt. Because he burned everything and everything became ash, then this opening of the third eye could not be denied to him. When it opened, people saw fire because the inner chamber was burning. There are two ways of opening the eye. One way is the inside has become total vacuum, so the doorway gets sucked in and naturally has to open. The doorway becomes limp and falls inward because there is nothing. He simply burnt not only his thought, not only his emotion, not just his relationships and possessions, he's just burnt his very being. The individual being is completely burnt out and there's a total vacuum, so the door fell inward and it's open. So people saw fire because it was burning still.
To be honest, I don't get it. Because
The hell are you talking about?
Two ways, and the first way, we just got into the second way, but the first way is that the metaphorical door that swings both ways on your third eye goes inward, and I guess it's supposed to swing outward so it can open up. I don't know. That was what I got from that, but other than that,
So just do that then. Just do that.
just get your metaphorical third eye door to swing the other way.
There's a whole list of things we can get you doing to get that to happen.
Did this start with Shiva? That's another question, because is Shiva the first thing in all of human history has documented a third eye on there? Is that where this whole third eye concept came from? And I noticed he's got the snake on there. There's a little bit of talk about fire, so I'm thinking Kundalini and all this stuff. Is this all derived from...
I used to listen to...
No, I'm just curious. Is it all derived from Hinduism and, the ancient stories of Shiva?
Yeah, good question. Is that where it's derived from? Maybe somebody can help us out there. I used to listen to a lot more Sadhguru. I don't listen to very much of him these days. I've listed many times who I like more these days. Adi Ashanti's probably at the top of that list with Gangaji. More simple. I notice Sadhguru has a tendency to go into the mythological, and I don't mean to be offensive there because I know it's like a real religion for people, but when you get into stories of an internal furnace burning and fire shooting out of the front of your head, you're getting into tales that don't reflect what we happen to see contemporarily.
Yeah.
They seem to be stories of old and symbolic and all kinds of different things. One thing that stood out to me was the all-consuming nature of fire and its tendency to purify. That crosses cultures. That's a Christian notion. That's all kinds of... I think it's in Christianity. It's fire as a purifying force is found, I think, in many belief systems. And then in religion and Christianity, when you die, if you're a sinner and unsaved by Christ, you burn for eternity.
Yeah.
Is that because it's supposed to eternally purify you? I don't know. But fire is a purification method standing out to me here. Now, that being said, I am not inclined to believe in stories of such like radical extreme nature. Yeah. I get the sense that there's a cultural difference here. Maybe we've got somebody sort of like that, this more rooted in our culture that would liken awakening or enlightenment or practices with chakras or third eyes. Maybe there's a more Western belief related thing that you might find an enlightened teacher talking about simply because it reflects the culture that it's coming from. Yeah, that might be an aspect of this. I hope you understood what I said there. On a sillier, funnier note, I notice how beady our eyes are compared to Sadhguru. He's got these big, captivating eyes. You know what I mean? And ours are like so tiny.
Hard to believe it's 15 years ago. It's like the young skin on Sadhguru. He's sitting back. He looks so young, even though he also looks old at the same time because he's got a big white beard. But
yeah, a lot of those gurus kind of look old early so they can ride that old wise guy train for decades. And can you ever imagine reclining shirt half off in front of a bunch of people and telling a story so calmly? You don't have to worry about hurrying it because everyone's just your devoted followers are just going to listen on every word you say. Can you see yourself in that position?
No.
What?
No,
Never?
No.
Yeah, anyway, so that's what captivated my attention. The details of the actual story. What do you want me to do? To take notes? Like, okay, it's so like mythical. You know what I mean? There are religions that have mythical qualities to them. To me, even in Christianity, I'm not saying we're Christian, but I'm saying that's what we grew up with. And in that, when you've got the Red Sea splitting, and you've got people walking on Jesus walking on water, and you've got miracles happening, they're miraculous because they're not what we see every day.
Yeah.
Maybe there are people out there that see that kind of thing every day, but it doesn't seem common.
Yeah.
And this is ancient in nature. Shiva's like, these old stories, old stories.
Mhm.
Was anyone there to verify any of this?
Yeah. Well,
What like, I have to, it's requiring me to
Well-
believe. I would have to like be like, okay, I'm going to actively believe this. And you know how I feel? I don't believe in believing. I don't believe in believing, and I don't even believe that. I'm just saying maybe we don't need to believe so many things. And that's why I don't listen to Sadhguru so much anymore. He's got so many things. I used to listen, he'd have diet tips and I'd be like, ooh, yeah, that's good. But I don't know where he's getting this information. You know what I mean? I'd be like, wake up early, take this little thing, mix it with that, and then you'll be good for this. Do this and, some obscure practice. Like, I don't listen to that stuff anymore. And I feel like I've gone past following a lot of those practices.
well, I'm sure he's got a little bit more to say about this first point, and then he's got one more point after this. Hopefully there's something we can take out of this, and I guess we'll keep going.
Another way of opening the third eye is you contain everything inside. Everything is contained. You did not find any expression for your thought, any expression for your emotion, any expression for anything. You could not even utter a word. See, if you remain silent for 4 days, on the 5th day, you feel like singing suddenly. If you don't know how to sing, you want to howl like a wolf. Huh? Because you want to let go. You didn't let go anything, so much pressure built up, and this door got knocked open from inside. This is another way to do it. The first way of doing is the best way of doing, because if you open it by building pressure, it opens up today and again tomorrow it may just shut itself. Or before enough pressure builds up and this opens, something else freaks in you and you run away, yes? Because the pressure builds up in such a way, if you have to hold it, you need… because you don't know what's happening, it looks like torture. It looks like 7th degree torture. If you're putting yourself through the whole process, then definitely your mind will ask, what is the point of going through this torture? Because it's a lot of torture. Not letting a single thought find expression, not letting a single emotion find expression, not uttering a single word, not finding expression to a single opinion that arises in your mind, single idea that arises in your mind. Oh, it'll burst you somewhere. If you hold everything intact, this will open, otherwise something else will freak. But you are a little… you're diplomatic. You believe in the middle path. That means you don't wish to get anywhere. People who believe in the middle path, they're determined not to get anywhere in their life. Middle path means just your comfort zone. Neither this nor that. Either you become empty, the sheer power of vacuum will open it, or you build up pressure in you, it'll burst open. 2 ways of opening. Middle path means you are a professional bullshitter. Really. Full-time bullshitter you are, not professional. Profession means they do it only part-time, right? They do it only certain times of the day. It doesn't matter where you go, you do your own stuff. Middle path. Middle path is a way of not getting anywhere, and after some time thinking, this doesn't go anywhere. Right now you're walking on the street, suddenly you found a big rock, there are only 2 ways to go, either this way or this way. This way a tiger is growling, this way there's fire burning. You think the best thing is middle path, that is to go into the rock. Obviously, this is not going to go anywhere. This will give you good exercise for some time. If you try to go into the rock, it's a good exercise. Really, it'll build a lot of good muscle if you take the middle path. It's just that you don't go anywhere.
So is he trying to say in the second point that if you don't let yourself attach to any emotions or anything, let your external the external influence you internally and like hold it all in, that will be the thing that like bursts it open? Is that what he's trying to say?
I'm going to try to understand what he said, because I'll admit, with all humility, have mercy on me.
Yeah.
When you guys correct me, which no doubt some of you will do, just have mercy, because I'm just responding to what you're saying and responding to this as best I know how. By the time he wrapped it up, I had a better idea. The details of miraculous things always get me lost in the woods. I'm like, why did I just get to the point already? I don't care about the details of the story. Even they might be important. But I already covered that. So by the end, I got the sense that what he was trying to communicate is there's two ways you do this here. You hold everything in, you do this like ridiculous aesthetic practice, and you're going to burst from that alone. Or you could take some other, maybe take an more expressive and outward path, and it kind of bursts forth from your extreme approach the other way. And then, part of me wanted to make the joke like, you telling me at this far in the game you're going to tell me the middle path is obsolete, it's not a good path? That's like a thing people say. Like, well, I'm doing the middle path. You know what I mean? Well, it is mentioned the middle path. Maybe it's the middle path. And this far into the dream, all of a sudden Sadhguru was like, that's a good way to get nowhere. But it does remind me of a Bible verse again, which is God when he says, either be hot or cold, because if you're lukewarm, I will spit you out of my mouth. Be hot or cold. Which is frightening to who? Who's it frightening to? It's frightening to the ego, because the ego is like, cares about keeping you alive and safe. Yeah. And so it wants there to be a middle path. There's just got to be, I'm willing to sacrifice a little bit here, but there's got to be a middle path. This godlike wisdom, when you got fire shooting out of the front of your head and you're awakening and opening third eyes, seems to require extremeness to some degree, or a willingness to be extreme, a willingness to go, I'll go to the zenith, or whatever the word is that means pinnacle. I'm willing to go all the way and either burn up or drown in it, but I'm not walking straight. I'm not walking some middle path where you don't really get anywhere.
Well, a lot of awakened people kind of talk about it as kind of like a leap of faith eventually that you have to take. It's like bungee jumping without the bungee, metaphorically, not.
We've got other videos where we break it down better than that, but yeah, you're taking a leap on something there, and it's scary. It's the ultimate thing that you're learning. The biggest leap of all is far more mundane than that. I don't think it means leaping off of anything. I don't think it means starving yourself. I don't think it means doing anything. Those things can be symbolic gestures, but I don't even think it's needed. I'm saying the ultimate leap ends up being such a mundane thing, which is like, probably now forget everything the Sadhguru said and just be it. And you're like, and if you look, you will see that's already the case. But you want your master to be, you want to cling to your master. You want one more lesson. You want one more thing. This is an eternal reality. It's eternally now. It's only ever now. It's never going to be a moment from now. It's never going to be the past again. You never were there. It's only ever now. The option is now, and it's ever present. The big leap is just not being tempted by all these promises of different things, which is what confuses me about Sadhguru's colorful, poetic, referential to old religious practices way. I don't know why he doesn't have a more subtle and direct approach sometimes. There's videos of him doing it that way.
Maybe it's picked because of the people he knows who he's talking to. Sometimes you are a way for people,
and that's just my opinion. Again, I come from a different culture, but even within my culture, there are people that, in a sense, self-flagellate. You know what I mean? Are ritualistic in their approach in a religion that is of my area, and I'm just. If you're actually after the real thing, if you're into ritual because it's fun for you, or if you're into ritual because you just like it and you're not done with it yet, you got my blessing. But if you're after the truthiest truth of truths that I think Sadhguru probably even knows about, It's I think it's far more direct and immediate than all this stuff.
Yeah.
If
I think
that makes sense.
they
I
call
hope
it
that
like
makes sense.
Neo-Advaita. It's kind of like, that's like the Western way of kind of like taking a lot of the Eastern practices and trying to like, narrow it down to just the fine points that you're talking about. And so, some people are into that, some people aren't. But anyway, you guys can let us know in the comments. Hopefully you liked our reaction on this. If you did, please don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, share this with a friend, and everyone until next time,
Stay spiritual.